And Russia has just successfully tested the new Zircon hypersonic missile launched from the Admiral Gorshkov warship. It traveled at 7 times the speed of sound and struck its intended target some 350 kilometers away on land. Vladimir Putin says this is part of a new generation of missile systems that are more advanced than that of any other country. So for analysis of this, we will turn to former Pentagon official Mike Maloof. So Mike, Vladimir Putin says this cruise missile is both low-flying and practically undetectable. Now, I got to ask you, is that even possible given, systems as advanced as, for example, Israel's Iron Dome, which can detect incoming miles and miles away?
Yeah, this is what Mr. Putin described it as is probably accurate. It's going at a hypersonic speed, like 7 to 8 times the speed of sound. Just going at that speed, it creates a cavitation around it, and it absorbs radio signals, and consequently, it becomes virtually stealth. And at that speed, and at a low trajectory, it's virtually undetectable. Even Iron Dome wouldn't be able to detect something like that. And our national defense missile defense systems are not capable of detecting something like that, especially if it's as it's designed to be placed on submarines just off the coast. Your warning time would be 0. Wow. So and this is meant to counteract a country like the United States that has a far superior military force than Russia does, and also the ship, the hypersonic missile, a cruise missile, would also may even make obsolete our carriers.
Well, hang on to that.
We rely on that.
Hang on to that for a second. What would that mean then if the capabilities are as such as President Putin said and as you've confirmed? What does that mean for the future of warfare? I mean, how does that change, this kind of technology change the landscape?
Well, all I see here is a huge arms race that any miscalculation could spell doom. Given that distance, it could be easily, that hypersonic missile, the Zircon, can be launched from the Federation, the Russian Federation, into Europe. They wouldn't be able to detect it. The missile defense systems that the United States is pouring tens of billions of dollars into would not be able to detect it. And it's meant to counteract a superior force, and that would effectively do it.
Now, the Russian Defense Ministry has now issued a stern warning to the Pentagon, specifically saying that the U.S. should not install their own hypersonic missiles in Europe because that could spark hostilities. That's not a veiled threat. Is this, in connection in any way to the NATO exercises happening in the Black Sea and in Eastern Europe?
I think that's part of it, but I also think it's an effort to try to get the two countries back on track for a multilateral agreement to limit such weapons capabilities. As you know, the United States abandoned the Intermediate Range Ballistic Missile Treaty. Mm-hmm. Now, this wouldn't necessarily cover that because of the distance, but the speed and the capability of this missile virtually makes anything like that obsolete. Because if it's mounted on on the third leg of your triad, namely your submarines, I mean, it's going to and can be launched from aircraft. By the way, it really, if it's used against aircraft carriers, we got 12 carrier strike forces, and you could take out a few of those missiles in a swarm approach. By swarm, I mean multiple hypersonics coming at the same time can neutralize that target. Then your international force projection becomes very minimal.
Wow. And lastly, Mike, I got to ask, who's deterring whom here? Is it NATO or Russia?
Well, it's a symbiotic relationship here. I think it's meant to send messages that if you want to do this, we can do that. and certainly the Russia has now demonstrated that it has that capability, and in fact, it's probably going to go operational rather rapidly. The United States does not have anything like that at the moment in its arsenal. But then, there's no defense to it.
Wow.
Whether the U.S. or Russia has it, there would be no defense to it, and that's why this makes a potential arms race and international tensions even greater. I think it's meant to say, okay, let's be growing ups here and let's sit down and work this out rather than escalating all the time. But given the maneuvers that NATO is doing in the Black Sea, in the backyard of Russia, I think it's threatening to the Federation, and there's a history of concern that Russia has, legitimately so, given past experiences.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, sparking off a new arms race. Mike Maloof, always appreciate your expertise. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Pleasure.
Okay, Shalom. Giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakah Kwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and salutations you Akim out there that push this word in truth and in sincerity. Here we go. I'm excited. Hey, words can express the way I feel. Because you have Russia test firing a new hypersonic nuclear missile in the Arctic, and this hypersonic nuclear missile is on a submarine. This hypersonic nuclear missile was designed to be fitted on a submarine so they can come upon you and just nuke you unexpectedly. And this is beautiful, man. This is prophecy. This is scripture. So there you have it. You have Russia putting out warnings to the United States government and also Europe on their nuclear hypersonic capabilities. Hey, you heard what they was talking about. The video was loud and clear. We're in the time of prophecy. We're in the time of the destruction of America. And this is beautiful, man. This is beautiful. Zephaniah chapter 1 verse 14 and 15. The day of the Lord, man. This is real beautiful, man. Right now, man, what we're experiencing is straight prophecy. Yo, and you can't stress it enough. These devils, their kingdom, their empire is circling the drain, man. It's circling the drain on a large scale, and they're too stubborn to realize that the jig is up. Hey, Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 14. The great day of the Lord is near. It is near, and hasteth greatly. What's the great day of the Lord, man? Thermal, nuclear destruction, and concentrated fire to destroy the empire of Esau. And the rest of these nations that's joined unto Esau, man. Pursuant to 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, the 1st verse on down. When Yahweh cracked them skies. You see, he's bringing death, destruction, and deliverance, man. So back in Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 14. The great day of the Lord is near, it is near, and hasteth greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord, even the voice of the day of the Lord, and the mighty man shall cry there bitterly, man. Esau's armies and the rest of the nation's armies, man. The voice of the Lord is his prophets, man. Let's get that straight out there. The voice of the Lord is his prophets. And the mighty men is the men in Esau's military. They're going to cry bitterly, man. Because the hypersonic missiles, hey, they are attached. They are designed to go onto a submarine. And a submarine deals with stealth. You cannot detect submarines. So you got now Russia got hypersonic missiles on a submarine that's capable. You come up on the shores of America and it's blasted shit, man. The Pacific Ocean, the Pacific coast, or the Atlantic coast, you know. And it's destroyed this bitch. Zephaniah chapter 1 verse 16. And it reads, matter of fact, 1 verse 15, Slakia. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation. Because the Most High created that waster, which the nuclear missile to destroy. That's why it says it's going to be a day of wasteness and desolation. Because once the missiles hit, them hypersonic, them supersonic, and them conventional ICBM nuclear missiles hit, it's going to leave this land desolate. That's why it says wasteness and desolation. And that's what's coming to the empire of Esau, the so-called white man. You're about to be taken out, snatched out of your rulership, the seat of rulership violently. And that's what's going down. So it reads. It says, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. Scripture come to mind. Joel, 2nd chapter, the 1st verse on down. You can't get around these scriptures. You can't get around these prophecies. This devil, this red bastard, his empire is circling the drain. And now you have the development of more hypersonic nuclear missiles that's capable of being undetected. Because why? It is on it's designed to be fitted for a submarine. And submarines, they are undetected, man. So there you have it. Death and destruction is coming to the shores of America, man. Death and destruction is coming to the shores of America. You can't get around it, man. So it reads, it says, that day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, a day of the trumpet, an alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers. The high towers what? Esau's empire, man. This society is about to go down, man. Fast and hard. And there's nothing these devils can do about it. There's nothing these devils can do about it. Straight and to the point. You can't do nothing about it, man. You're going down, bitch. You're going down. And there's nothing you can do about it. 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, verse 12. It says, the earth quakeneth, and the foundation thereof, and the sea ariseth up with the waves from the deep, and the ways of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also, before the Lord Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai, and before the glory of his power. The glory of the Lord's power is first and foremost them chariots. That's the glory of the Lord, his power, man. With the concentrated fire that's coming from them chariots. Also, the Lord's army, man, was mentioned in the book of Joel, man. The hypersonic, supersonic, and ICBM nuclear missiles that's going to come upon the shores of America and destroy this bitch, man. It reads, for strong, verse 13, for strong is the right hand, it's like it, for strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. Whose right hand? the right hand of the Lord Yahweh. Why Yahweh Shah, man? Because that's who's orchestrating the destruction of America, man. This is the Most High's movie. The Lord's Spirit is going to be upon the missiles to bring total destruction upon Esau's empire, man. And there's nothing this devil could do about it, man. You going down. It says, for strong is his right hand that bent up the bow. That bow is that nuclear silo that contained the nuclear missile. In this instant, that bow represent that submarine that's going to hold that hypersonic missile that's able to reach the shores of America. I mean, with devastating power in less than an hour, man. This is prophecy. It says, for strong is his right hand that bent up the bow, his arrows, which represent the ICBM, the supersonic, the hypersonic nuclear missiles, that he shooteth are sharp. Because they're going to be laser guided by Esau's technology, which is the Most High's technology ultimately. And it's going to be spearheaded by the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, man. The Lord's Spirit is going to be upon the missiles to hit their targets, man. And destroy this bitch, man. Because the Most High controls everything, man. It says, for strong is his right hand that bent up the bow, his arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss. Why? Because the Most High Spirit is going to be upon the missiles, and they're going to be laser guided also. When they begin to be shot into the ends of the world, from Russia, from the eastern hemisphere to the western hemisphere, from the western hemisphere to the eastern hemisphere, man. This earth is going to be knocked off its axis, man. It's going to be fucked up, man. So read, behold, the plagues are sent, and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. The plagues are sent. What plagues, man? What plagues, man? Zechariah what plagues? Zechariah. Give me a second, real quick. Zechariah (14 and 12), and it reads, and this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord Yahweh will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. So, talking about you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, man, because Jerusalem is a people before it become a place. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet. A perfect illustration of that, we always bring it out. Terminator 2, when Sarah Connor was watching the people play, watching them kids play in the park, and death and destruction came, man. Thermonuclear destruction came, man. It says, and this shall be the plague, Zechariah chapter 14, verse 12, and this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. Talking about their future endeavors, because that's twofold. Thermonuclear destruction upon this wicked-ass empire of Esau's, and all Esau's endeavors that he planned on doing in 2050, 2040, 2050, 2060. That's all your eyes shall consume away. It says, Salaki real quick. It says, their flesh, it says, Salaki real quick. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes. Talking about their future endeavors. What they're going to do in 2050, 2060, 2070. That shit ain't going to come to pass, man. It says, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. All their different philosophies that they push. And it's also twofold. Because what's going to happen is, your actual tongue is going to consume away. Being destroyed by thermonuclear destruction and concentrated fire from them chariots, man. Hey, man, you devils are caught up in the trick bag, man. And you're not going to escape the judgment and the wrath of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah. So it reads, it says, and it shall come to pass in that day that a great tumult from the Lord shall be among them. That great tumult is the nuclear missiles and that concentrated fire from the chariots, man. It says, and they shall lay hold every one on his hand, on the hand of his neighbor, and on the hand, and they shall lay hold every one on the hand of his neighbor, and his hand shall rise up against the hand of his neighbor. Hey, that's about them race wars, man. But back to the destruction and back to what's going on with Esau, man. And the Russian counterparts of Esau that slated to destroy the American counterpart of Esau, man. Because they all red devils. They all fucking Edomites. But one Edomite is going to destroy another Edomite, man. And that's how it's going down. That's prophecy. Isaiah chapter 24 verse 19. And it reads, the earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean dissolved. The earth is moved exceedingly. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage. What's going to make the earth move and be real to and fro like a drunkard, man? Hypersonic missiles, supersonic missiles, and ICBM nuclear missiles. Also, concentrated fire from them chariots. Do you understand what the scriptures is saying? You gotta visualize this. When you read it, you gotta put a picture in your mind and visualize this, man. And visualize America being destroyed, man, by concentrated fire from them chariots and thermonuclear missiles, hypersonic, supersonic, and ICBM nuclear missiles, man. Isaiah chapter 24 verse 19, once again. And it reads, the earth is utterly broken down. What's going to make the earth utterly broken down? Them nuclear missiles. That concentrated fire from them chariots. The earth is clean dissolved. The earth is moved exceedingly. What's going to make the earth clean dissolve and make the earth move exceedingly? Hypersonic and supersonic missiles, man. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard. Because you're going to have missiles shot off from the eastern hemisphere to the western hemisphere. From the western hemisphere to the eastern hemisphere, man. Hey, man. This is going to be a showdown. And these red bastards is going to be snatched out of their rulership, man. In 1 hour. Destroyed. So it reads, the earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it. What's the transgression thereof that's going to be upon this society, man? What do you see going on in this society right now, man? Unjust laws, transgenderism, homosexuality, women usurping authority over men, and many other unjust laws, man. Just to name a few. It says, and it shall fall and not rise again, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord Yahweh shall punish the hosts of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth, man. Hey, punish the host of the host. It says, let me read it again. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord Yahweh shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high. Starting with the international bankers, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Gettys, the Vanderbilts, the Oppenheimers, and all the rest of them 13 families that are secretly ruling this planet Earth behind the scenes, man. The Lord is going to punish y'all, man, with a sore punishment. And the first fruits and how you going to punish y'all? Y'all going to be the first fruits of slaves, man. You old decrepit international bankers that make it out of the destruction. Y'all gonna be the first fruits of slaves, man. And we're gonna beat the shit out y'all. We're gonna fuck you up real vicious like, man. We're gonna do you dirty 9 ways to Sunday. We just gonna fuck y'all up. In other words to describe it. It says, and they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison, and after many days they shall be visited. And then the moon shall be confounded, and the sun ashamed, when the Lord Yahweh, power of hosts, shall reign in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem, and before his ancients gloriously, because the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of Esau is gonna be no more. He not gonna know what the fuck is going on, man. He's gonna be confounded, smitten, beaten, and chains slapped upon him. So all the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that you was getting on the left-hand side from them demons that the Most High allowed you. And this is the thing. Here's the kicker. You red devils was worshiping the Most High, but on the left-hand side, man. The Lord allowed them demons to give you the power to rule, man. But you're going to tell them demons that's enough. And them demons is going to stop giving you the power, and you're going to be snatched out of your rulership. Red devils. Dig that. That's how smart you are. Thou art wiser than Daniel, but guess what? You wiser than Daniel, but do you realize that you are worshiping the Most High, but on the left-hand side? You too smart. You so smart that you dumb, you devils. Dig that. Dig that. This is the last verse before I close it out. This is real quick. This is gonna be Ezekiel chapter 39, verse 14. Going into the punishment of the host of the high ones. And it reads, and they shall sever out, who's they? The men, the 144,000, the 1/3, the governing body that's joint heirs with Yahweh Shah, man. The first fruits of the sons of Israel. They are the ones that's going to sever out continuing employment, man. And that employment means slavery. It says, and they shall sever out men of continual employment, passing through the lands to bury with the passengers those that remain upon the face of the earth, because after this destruction, it's going to be, if you go to Isaiah chapter 66 verse 15, Jeremiah is it 25 verse 33, if I'm not mistaken. Let me fact check that real quick. The slain of the Lord shall be many, man. The slain of the Lord shall be many. Yeah, it is. It says, 25 verse 33 on down, man. So, hey, the slaying of the Lord shall be many, man. And that's why you got the international bankers out there. Started with the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. They're going to be putting up signs and burying the dead, man. That's going to be the first task of the international bankers. And we're going to beat the shit out you and make sure you do it correctly. It says, okay. Back in Ezekiel chapter 39, verse 14, and they shall sever out men of continuing employment, passing through the land to bury with the passengers, those that remain upon the face of the earth, to cleanse it. After the end of 7 months shall they shout. Shall they shout, like it. And the passengers that pass through the land, when any save a man's bones, then shall he set up a sign by it till the buriers have buried it in the valley of Hamongog. So you're going to have these elite international bankers. Some going to be setting up signs, and the one that's setting up the signs is going to be followed behind those that's burying the men that's laid out on the earth, man. Because the Lord said in Jeremiah 25 verse 33 that the slaying of the Lord shall be from one end of the earth to the next, man. So they're going to have a good tax, man. They're going to have a real good tax, man, on burying the dead, man. And that's going to be your job. Your new job, instead of defrauding the people throughout the face of the earth with your international banking system, your Babylonian money magic system, your new task that you're going to be doing is burying the dead throughout the four corners of the earth. How about that? How about that? So right now, we are circling the empire of Esau, man. It's circling the drain. The empire of Esau, the so-called white man's empire, is circling the drain. Here you have starts warnings from the Russian counterparts of Esau, and they warning Europe and the American counterparts of these Edomites, man, of what they got, man. And guess what? The Lord's gonna put the spirit on these devils, them Russian devils, them Russian Edomites, to shoot missiles off and destroy this bitch, right along with its allies. You can't get around that. Shalom.